Hi, James again from the 11 Plus Tutors. Today I've got a quick video about some key points, some key things that I see happening with children's writing, and I've called this writing getting carried away, and that's precisely what happens. Every summer we run mock exams and I get to see the way in which children are just about to approach their real 11 Plus exam, and I can see exactly what the problems are. In a lot of cases, kids are definitely getting carried away. If we look at point number one, one thing we definitely see in the exam hall is kids forgetting everything they've been taught and tutored, and they default back to the same old, same old. That is because children's awareness is very contextual. So when they are confronted with a title, for example, write a story, their context switches and they go back to the way they used to write at school. The same old, same old. And that's definitely not what we want. So we have to do a lot of training with children to break that habit, to ensure that no matter what type of title they get, they're still giving out the key things, the key signals that examiners are looking for. Point number two, time and time again, we're seeing pieces of writing with no paragraphs. The children know very well how to use them. They know what the function of a paragraph is and how to construct them and organise their work using them, but they just forget them because they are getting carried away. Next one, no complex sentences. They default back to subject, verb, makes full sense, just main clause sentences, but forgetting about extra information, subordinate clauses, that kind of thing. Of course, there can also be things such as short sentences, maybe a two-word sentence, a good compound sentence that doesn't use and, it uses good connective words that are interesting, but they forget to use different sentence types. So this is a major thing. These things here are mentioned on the mark scheme for 11 Plus writing. Writing loaded with dialogue. I call this the he said, she said writing. We will say to kids, said is dead. You should never use the word said. It's as bad as the word and nice. There are many ways of saying this without using said, but I definitely would not have loads of dialogue. This is not the place for that, really. We're after showing all of the skills, things like different sentence types, things like metaphors, personification, juxtaposition, lots of different skills. If we're just relying on what people said, dialogue, it's not going to be the best piece of writing ever, I can assure you. A little bit of dialogue may be acceptable, but definitely not too much. I call this the and then writing. This is definitely, and it comes back to this, defaulting back to the same old. They get a crazy picture and write a story. The context goes, they default back to what they're used to doing, and you end up with very basic writing with and then. And it kind of leads me into my last point. This is a big deal, and this bright kids suffer from this as well. In a child's mind, they think the more fantastical a storyline, the higher the marks they're going to get, the more outlandish the storyline. That couldn't be further from the truth. I call this over-fantastical writing. For example, this is the type of writing we see a lot, you know, and then we went back in time, we met the dinosaurs, then we went to a different universe, then we met the Time Lords, we went into the future, then we went back again. Then we met our 25 different main characters and we had lots of dialogue between. No. The best stories, if you think about the best films you enjoy, the best books you enjoy, actually quite simple storylines. And one could argue the ancient Greeks covered most of those. You know, very simple human storylines. It's not about having a complicated storyline that gets you the marks. It's about injecting it with lots of 11 Plus skills. For example, complex sentences, hard words, metaphors, that kind of thing. That's where the mark, and we have to drill this into children's minds so they understand this. But this is the kind of mindset they're coming to us with. And unfortunately, it's not being trained out of them at school. They're coming to us, and I'm talking about bright kids as well, especially this one we see a lot. I hope that was clear. And a lot of this is just common sense, isn't it? But children are very contextually sensitive, so it depends where they are, what the setting is, as to what they remember to do. So we have to really train them hard for this. I hope you enjoyed this short video. Look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.